Hey guys, so I'm hoping that this video will turn out okay. I've been wanting to make videos lately and life keeps getting in the way. It's like there's never enough time to squeeze in something like this at the moment. There's just been so much going on between family events or social events or my day just kind of gets away from me taking care of my kids and stuff. Right now, my oldest is at school and my youngest is asleep, and I have to go pick my oldest up in like an hour and a half. So, also, I have the windows open today because it's really nice out here in Minnesota, but you might hear airplanes. I live near the airport. Today is also garbage day, so you might hear garbage trucks. But you know what? Screw it. We're gonna make this video. Ugh. I don't really edit on my channel, and I'm hoping you guys enjoy my rawness, I guess. Maybe it's endearing, I don't know. But on to the topic at hand. Today I want to talk about some of the things that I've learned with my deep dive into tarot over the last year so far. I think about a year, maybe a little less. Speaking of a year, actually, let me just jump ship really quick here. As of April 9th, I have been on YouTube for a whole year again. So yay! I thought about doing a live on the 9th, but again, just life got in the way. So I might do one soon here just for fun to kind of make up for that. I mean, I just thought it would have been really fun to do a YouTube anniversary live, but didn't get around to it just because some days I want to record after my kids go to bed and I'm just so drained that I can't muster up the energy. But today we're gonna get into it. So specifically, I kind of want to talk today about why Rider-Waite-Smith matters. So if you guys go back in my channel, even to last fall, you will notice that there is a video I did on, it's called 17 Tarot Asks, and sorry if the light just changed, my background switched and it's more bright. And in that, one of the questions is talking about Rider-Waite-Smith. And I talk about how I don't resonate with it, and I never have. Well, I don't really still, but I'm now starting to understand and appreciate the heaviness that it holds. Now I'm specifically talking about Rider-Waite-Smith, so I'm not talking about Marseille, which is older, or Thoth, which is Aleister Crowley's deck and system on tarot. I have not been connected to either of those styles. Maybe one day I will explore either Marseille or Thoth, but right now I'm very much just interested in learning Rider-Waite-Smith. And the thing is that when I started reading tarot, I was about 18, I think, and I got my first deck, which I've talked about on this channel. I did a video not that long ago talking about reversals and showing my first deck, because the two topics kind of tied into each other. But the thing is that that deck was incredible. But again, as I will mention, it was not a good beginner's deck. The deck includes reversals on the cards, and it's kind of cool because you flip and I wish let's see if I was supposed to be more prepared with my videos, but you guys know I never am. Never ever. So we're just gonna awkwardly reach back here on my shelf, disturb the cat in my lap, and that's just gonna go and get into trouble and wake up my sleeping child. So this is my first deck. Whoa, why is it flipped? No. As you can see, let's see if I can get it to focus. Maybe. Alright, as you can see, it has reversals on the cards. And this is the, here, or here, I'll grab a Major Arcana. This is the Revelations Tarot by Zach Wong, and it's a beautiful deck. But look, as you can see, this is the Hierophant. It's got reversals on the cards. And, you know, I've discussed reversals before, so I'm not really going to get into it right now because that's not what this video is about. But, again, this deck was not the best for reading, for really learning tarot for a beginner. It really wasn't. And I didn't even realize it. Like, I completely ignored that fact. And also, I relied heavily on the guidebook, which is something I'm still trying to break the habit of doing, and thus wanting to deep dive into tarot. And I'm going to talk a little bit about intuitive reading in this video too, but I kind of want to talk about Rider-Waite-Smith first. So the big thing that I'm starting to understand with the importance of Rider-Waite-Smith is that as long as your cards follow the Rider-Waite-Smith system, everything is based on it. Now, there are some decks that don't follow the Rider-Waite system. I mean, they follow the system, but the imagery is kind of wavers back and forth. But there are other decks that are almost carbon copies of it. My Moon Crystal Tarot, which is the Sailor Moon themed one, pretty much exactly the same, but it's the Sailor Moon characters, which is really cool if you're a giant nerd like me. But so that deck I thought was really great to read with because it's so similar to Rider-Waite-Smith. And I just wish that I had understood more. I wish that I had had the appreciation of what this deck is and the foundation that it provided. It was a pioneer to tarot, and more decks nowadays are based on the Rider-Waite system than any of the others. So most of the decks you will find are Rider-Waite-Smith based. And I wish that I had understood that, because I feel like if I had started with the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, then I feel like maybe I could have read almost any other deck, as long as it was Rider-Waite-Smith based, very easily, and thus maybe worked on my intuitive reading more. And the other thing is that I'm a very visual person, so if I study the images in this deck, then I will pick up on the symbolism in other decks very easily, because that's just, I pick up on stuff like that. What is with this hair? I pick up on stuff like that very easily. I don't know, my brain is just very visual, and I think that's part of being an artist. Who knows? Or an INFJ, or me. But my point behind this is that don't underestimate Rider-Waite-Smith. If you really want to deep dive into tarot, I really suggest picking up Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And this is the universal weight, so it's pretty much the same deck as the traditional Rider-Waite. It's just the coloring is a little bit different. Only slightly, honestly. The art style is pretty much the same, except for it kind of has this like colored pencil medium to it. I don't know, I like it, it's pretty, but the colors are a little bit more muted. But I know they have like a Centennial weight that has a kind of antique-y washed look on it too, that's really pretty. I liked that one as well. But and then there's the Radiant weight that's really vibrant. There's a ton of different Rider-Waite-Smiths, but just don't underestimate this deck. And most of the time you can find these pretty inexpensive for a study deck, but that's my recommendation, is to, if you really want to deep dive into tarot and to understand Rider-Waite-Smith, hopefully don't make the same mistake that I did, where I had one deck that I read with for a really long time, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm starting to understand that I think it hindered my deeper knowledge of tarot. And then I got much older and realized that there was so much that was missing from this, and I want to understand pretty much everything I can about tarot, specifically more about its history now too, which is something I was never interested in before. So I feel like that's all just going to give me a deeper appreciation of what this is and become an efficient reader if I understand it more. So get yourself a Rider-Waite-Smith if you want to. that's just my recommendation. Obviously, if a deck calls you, it calls you. I mean, that's kind of what I thought initially, is that this was a deck that had called to me, and it still does. It's still very personal. I love it dearly, and I will never ever part with it. But, you know, why did it take me 15 years to get a Rider-Waite-Smith and finally understand further all the stuff that I could have known this whole time? And the other thing that now I'm going to kind of jump from Rider-Waite-Smith, talking about Rider-Waite-Smith specifically, and more into intuitive reading. The other thing that I wish that I had done was I wish that I had focused more on intuitive reading. Now I am starting to, and it takes a lot of practice. There goes a cat. But the great thing is that there's never really one way to read a card, which is also something that I wish that I had understood when I was first starting out, because I thought it had to be whatever the guidebook said, and if it didn't make sense, then I must have drawn the wrong card. And now I'm starting to realize that there are so many different ways to read a card, and you don't really ever draw a wrong card. Also, if it doesn't make much sense, you can pull another as a clarification, which was mind-blowing to me when I figured that out. I was like, wow, you can draw more cards? And I was so strict and rigid in my practice, and it really hindered me from evolving in tarot for the longest time. And then finally something clicked, and I realized all this stuff that I had been completely lacking. And it's so, now I'm kind of frustrated, because I'm like, why didn't I pick this up before? Why didn't I understand this? So that's kind of the point behind this video, is that I'm hoping to talk to you guys about some of the mistakes I made over the years of trying to learn tarot, but not really learning it. I was practicing it, but I wasn't learning it. And I do think that I mean, obviously, if you don't have any interest in learning the history, if you don't have any interest in getting a Rider-Waite-Smith deck, that's fine. That's what works for you. But these are just my recommendations of the things that I wish I had changed, because I want to deep dive into this. So if you do want to deep dive into it, that's my suggestions. But I recently read through a book, which I'm actually going to do a review on this channel for, I think. So I'm probably not going to get too much into it, but I do want to talk a little bit about it, because it has kind of sparked these thoughts a little bit more, and kind of sparked more on how to go about intuitive reading. Because a lot of the times you get a sense, at least in my experience, you get a sense of intuitive hits during readings. And at least, excuse me, oh, throat, it's just allergies, guys. It's probably just gonna get worse. You get a hint, or kind of a hint of intuitive sensation when you're reading. I do. Most of the time my intuitive hits manifest physically, which was interesting to hear other readers talk about that, because it's one of those things where you think you're nuts. But my physical sensations from intuitive hits are usually, I will get like a chill, sometimes a ringing in my ears, is hair in my eye, or there's one more and I can't remember what it was. But yeah, it's usually like a chill up my spine. Oh, or my heart jumps. It's just like a shockwave to my heart. It feels strange. Like there's just this like, ooh, like my heart just skipped a beat sensation in my chest. And usually I know that that's my intuition trying to get my attention. And we spend so much time ignoring our intuition. We are almost conditioned in this society to completely disregard it and think that it's complete bull. And I feel like everybody is intuitive, and I feel like some more than others. And I feel like if you start to become more in tune with your intuition, more and more synchronicities, more things will start to occur. You'll notice more. You'll have a more open sight, I guess is the best way to describe it. So the one thing, or onto the book that I mentioned that I had read through, just finished a couple days ago, is called Psychic Tarot. And it's by Nancy Antonucci and Melanie Howard, which is interesting because actually these are two authors that are here in Minnesota, so that's kind of cool. But through here, there is, and like I said, I'm not going to get too much into this because I really do want to do a full book review on this. But it's all about learning how to read intuitively, and it was very eye-opening for me, especially because this is a path that I want to follow and start to go down further. It talks about blocks, synchronicities, and then it goes through the Fool's Journey, which was a really fascinating thing to read. And then the major arcana, the court cards, the minors, energy, trusting your insights, and then it kind of talks about the 6 principles of intuition and of sight is what the author describes it as. And it basically talks about grounding, intent, form, synchronicity, closure, integration. And then there's a good chapter on like helpful boundaries and stuff too. But there's a lot of exercises in here about reading intuitively. One of the first exercises that I will mention is familiarizing yourself with the court cards. And so basically you take all of the court cards and you put them in piles, and you kind of go through and you identify them with people in your life intuitively. You completely ignore what any sort of guidebook says. And I thought that was an interesting exercise. You do it the same with the major arcana and so forth. And I plan on doing this. I plan on journaling on it. I plan on exploring it. But it's an incredible book. I really do recommend it if you want to learn a little bit more about exploring intuitive reading. Obviously, this video is interesting because it's kind of got one half where I'm talking about the importance of study, the importance of learning Rider-Waite-Smith, and the importance of learning the cards, and then the importance of exploring intuitive reading. Because I think that they are both deeply important, and I feel like there are some readers that are just analytical readers, and then there are other readers that are intuitive readers, and then there are readers that are a little bit of both. I think I'm a little bit of both, but I just think that it's important to explore all avenues and kind of find your niche, like what works for you. Again, I wish that I had paid more respect to Rider-Waite-Smith before, or way back when I first picked up my very first tarot deck, which, you know, again is this one right here, and it's got such a bow to it. It's like the imagery is pretty similar to Rider-Waite-Smith, but it also has some differences, and then it's got, you know, the reversals, which confused the ever-living crap out of me in the beginning. But the one thing that I'm understanding is that all the imagery in the original Rider-Waite-Smith, you get to pick up on the similarities once you really start to familiarize yourself with that deck. So I'm gonna grab it once again. I'm being kind of picky because I don't really want to like shuffle through it, but we'll do it. I have not shuffled this deck since I got it because I've been slowly going through it, but it's really, really important to familiarize yourself with this imagery. And it's also really important to try intuitive reading with this imagery, which is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be starting those exercises in Psychic Tarot with this deck. And then kind of go from there with other decks of mine. Because, for instance, like one of my other favorite decks is the Wild Unknown. Not really close to Rider-Waite-Smith, based on the Rider-Waite system, but the imagery is not really Rider-Waite-Smith. So, yeah, just if you, ooh, I can't hold things today. If you feel like this is something that you want to understand a little deeper, then definitely familiarize yourself with this deck, because, hey Luna, this is the foundation. This is the pioneer in a lot of ways. Obviously, like I said, I know that Marseille is older, so I don't want to make an incorrect statement by saying that Rider-Waite-Smith. I find it strange that the court cards are first in this shuffle. I don't know. I'm gonna go through and fix that because whenever beginning a suit, I always want like the court cards and stuff at the end. But that's, like I said, I know that Marseille is older. I don't want to say something. I don't mean to say that Rider-Waite-Smith is the pioneer of tarot. It's not. But it is the most prevalent nowadays, and like I said, most of what you will find nowadays for modern tarot decks are based on this system. So studying this deck and learning the imagery of this, I think, is exceedingly beneficial, and I really wish that I didn't overlook it. I know I've kind of bounced all over in this video, and I apologize for that. I just have mom brain hardcore. And it's been a week. It's been 2-year-old and 4-year-old meltdown central, so it's been kind of challenging, but I just wanted to come on here, guys, and talk to you guys a little bit about some of the things that I'm learning with tarot, why Rider-Waite-Smith what matters, and why, if you feel called to it, you should explore intuitive reading as well. Obviously, all the things that I mentioned on my channel here, I never want to say you should do this and this is the only one way to do it, because that's bullshit. There's never only one way to do anything. But if something I've said resonates with you, then that's awesome. I think that's about it for this video. There I go, bumping the desk. Squirrel. Oh, gosh. It's remarkable that I can even pull off anything at this moment. But with that being said, I hope you guys are having a good week. And I'm going to be attending a local tarot class here in the Twin Cities on Thursday, which I'm really, really excited about. I have never actually went to a tarot class. I haven't done it. And so I'm so thrilled to do that. And then I have another video I'm going to be hopefully filming soon here within the next few days once I get the time, talking about goddess decks. So look for that, and as always, leave any comments down below if you have any questions or just anything you want to say. I read everything. I don't always respond, but I read everything. With that being said, blessed be, guys. I hope you have a wonderful day.